Hey everyone, today we're trying out Potential Unleashed. Find ourselves up against Valencia. It was marked casual play, so I'm hoping it's not a World's Legal deck, and instead it is, I don't know, maybe trying out something from a new pack. I don't know about this opening hand. It might be okay actually. We have Vanilla for protection on HQ maybe. We can stick a hostile down. Maybe we'll keep... no, let's mulligan it. But I don't get to see my new hand. Okay, I don't know what's happening here, but my opening hand so instead is hedge fund. Nope, something's wrong. Maybe, I don't know. Anna Jackson. So let's, I don't know, try installing something. Hedge fund, okay, fair enough. And I suppose we're going with Yagora on, if I can find it, on HQ. So I'm not entirely sure what's happening here. Jinteki went down over the weekend. Maybe it's still having some issues. Because this is very strange. So I'll res the ice and see what it ends up being. So this is a pad. So you're going to ignore the opening hand there, except for the Jackson. That is a legitimate card. We have a hedge fund and we have another hedge fund potentially. Well, they're getting their medium up, so hopefully they can hit a couple of shocks. So after all that confusion, this deck is based on the Ink Black Cherry Blossoms deck, but instead of Sundews, I've put in Breaker Bay Grids instead. I think it'll help us a little bit more, maybe. So we'll take advantage of the fact that they're quite poor. Boxy is an interesting choice. Combine is great and could work well with this if they're going for maximum hand size. So let's draw. Quandary could be good on a remote. Put that on R&D. And I think just take one. They're not going to be trashing our pad this turn. We have Yagora to stop them on HQ. Well, not quite stop, but do little bits and pieces of damage. So it's an interesting little deck. It has things like Bioethics Association, Neurally MPs of course, and some dangerous and spiky ice as well, just to keep runners honest. You're basically causing as much disruption as possible, both with the damage to hand and also off the stack because of the ID ability. Blackmail, so they are coming for HQ. But they're only going to get the one axis, so I'm not sure why you're using blackmail so soon. Especially when there's nothing to follow it up with. So that's fine, there's one blackmail out of the way at least. House of Knives could be good, they didn't run the last phase down we did. So maybe we just install this new remote and crack the hedge fund. Get our money up. They're quite poor as well, so maybe they don't want to run things in case of Psychic Field. And especially with Katie. So, that's good for us. We could test the resolve here with a Fetal AI install advance. They'll take 2 damage from hand and 2 from the stack, so, or 1 from the stack rather. Let's give it a go. We'll see if they're willing to run things that are installed, advanced, and all that kind of jazz. Maybe they'll just draw up 1 and run it, but we'll see where they're at. If they don't run it, we can actually leave it on the table a while, score the House of Knives instead. Okay, they're going to run that one instead. Well, that's fair enough. Would be amusing if they ran it with no money. But no, we're going to have it. So, I think we draw gift here. Yeah, that's pretty good. So next turn we can get the hostile and the breaker bay down. Oh no, of course we don't have the hostile. It's actually a hedge fund. Apparently I need to celebrity gift on myself. So we have the breaker bay at least. We do need a hostile to make it a bit more potent. Storing 3 on Katie early, I'm not mad about that. Really you want to draw early for options, and when you have the spare click left over, then use Katie. It's also quite dangerous at the moment to have her fully loaded. Now, I can't remember because it's not in this deck, but there is a Jinteki card where you can send resources back, or you can trash them, things like that. So, we'll see where they're at. Bioethics. That could work well for us. Let's draw. We have a Jackson. We can sack one Jackson, really. So we're not quite putting as much pressure on them as I would like. Unfortunately, they ran the House of Knives, was not expecting that. Now we have the fetal that they've left alone, but at any point, apparently, they could run it. There's a good chance they'll want to run these unadvanced ones. I'm curious to see what their plan is with Boxy. You would imagine something like Faust. I'm curious. I'm not entirely sure what their plan is here. So they are going to run unadvanced stuff. So that means we can put down a snare easy enough. No, shocks. Shocks are in this deck, snares are not. Because apparently it struggles for money, but here we are on 22 credits, so. So now they know we run bioethics at least. House of Knives. So they're willing to run some unadvanced things and not others. So maybe we can get a blackmail run here, maybe. See if we can draw out a blackmail. They haven't done a lot of drawing, and it's been all the hard way as well. Aside from the peddler. Nope, just money up. Okay, well, we can get a bioethics down, we can get a hedge fund if we want. Let's try and draw for hostile. Nope, DNA tracker's pretty good though. But where can we put it that it'll actually do some damage? In reality, you want it behind Komainu. It's good as a taxing ice, but if they're not running except with blackmails, it makes it much more difficult. So let's just put bioethics out in a new remote and hedge fund. At least then we have Jackson targets. Okay, they're going to feel a little bit braver now, I think, with Mimic on the table. And that's when you need your DNA tracker down. So we are not getting them with random pips of damage, unfortunately. Maybe if we can find our shocks, New Orleans peas, things like that, then we can start chipping away at them. Data sucker. That'll make DNA tracker a little less relevant. We can draw here, get the shock into archives. Could neural them, just for 1 pip. So draw, neural. Not the worst thing in the world. Find a future perfect. So what do we hit? Medium and a liberated. That's pretty good. The medium, they're unlikely to play a second one. But at least we're removing that option. And now archives is unlikely to be a target with data sucker. R&D is quite expensive, and they currently can't deal with Yugura, so not one they want to run through all that often. And if they feel that they can start taking it, then we go with the DNA tracker instead. So do we just slam the House of Knives? Blackmail on R&D. So C2, get nothing for it. Sweepspeak is not great for us now, but gonna get good. I think we pop this into server 6 because they've just used the blackmail, so hopefully they won't use another. Vanilla is still good, for the moment at least. Do we need to ice up anywhere else? We almost should, but where? Maybe this on archives, even though I don't want to res it just yet, but it means that we can leave it unresed if we want, nothing through. It also means we can score out this fetal AI. At least get 2 points on the board. Or score this House of Knives if they leave it unchecked. Took lots of money and wild side is down. Okay, we will get the House of Knives scored. And now let's see if we can cause some chaos. At the very least, we can get this scored. Maybe cause some more issues. So DNA tracker may be our only hope now. They've got all their breakers aside from more than likely Yogg. Playing the good old kind of classic Anarch, all the breakers out. So we can get a good sweeps here. I still don't know where to put this DNA tracker. We could always celebrity gift, put it down. No, I'd like to keep it as a surprise. I think R&D is the more pressing. Draw, sweeps, and we can put vanilla on HQ, I think. I mean, not much to protect there, but I would prefer DNA tracker on R&D, I think. With medium down, that's probably where they want to go. But of course, you always got to watch out for the blackmails. And unfortunately, our remote server is not going to do a whole lot for us now. We've moved a little too slowly. But if we can find a hostile infrastructure, could change things a little bit. Plascrete, well, that's not what we're interested in. Lotus Field. At the moment, it's fine. Maybe we draw 2 here. Arc Lockdown. The moment we can hit blackmail, actually. 2 of which wouldn't be bad. Alternatively, let's pop this here and pop this in here. What do we get rid of? I think Future Perfect, because we're probably not going to score it. Not just yet, anyway. Get the chronotype down. Could, of course, blackmail. Oh no, okay, we're going to get it. Oh, hostile. I do want that, but unfortunately, the server where we want it is taken. So let's just score this out. I think we bin the... It's hard to know, actually. We're going to get back 3 already. Maybe the gift is actually the worst of them. Crisium could be useful for slowing down the medium, at least. Here's Faust. So they've got their full rig. But they have to get a little bit of money so that they can actually break through things, trash things, all that stuff. And they are going to lose cards here. So... 6 subroutines, which is more than they have. So we get to hit for 2 at least. Nothing exciting, unfortunately. But we do kind of chip away at their stack as well. Get rid of Scrubber, which is very useful. And they didn't find anything, so that is great. The question is, how greedy do we get with the arc lockdown? We could just get rid of 2 blackmails now. That seems like a really good idea. So I think our turn is sweeps, install the hostile into server 6, and arc lockdown on blackmail. So now we have 1 to worry about. Even if they're same old things and all that, deja vus, it's still only the 1. We should probably purge next turn. So we fetal on the table. The question is, how do we get the last 3 points? So they're just going to make a normal run. Yeah, we might as well get the Lotus Field rezzed at the very least. Cost them 2 cards. Vanilla will only cost them the 1. And then Hostile possibly will wipe their balance out. And also cost them a card if they want to take it out. So we might as well do that. Oh well. Let's chip for 1 more. Parasite, that is good to see. Let's do this and this. So they can trash 1, but not both. And they will take 1 damage as well. So, Scrubber and Street Peddler. It's not bad for us. Not bad at all. I think we just Purge here. Gives him a free turn. But medium could sink us. So we'll Purge here and maybe reshuffle then before our next turn. Get back Future Perfect. The Neural maybe, and the Hostile. Seems decent. Same old thing, probably not as tempting without the blackmails. But they do have one that they can use. They can only use it on HQ though, so that's not bad. Let's just score this out. So Combine is always going to be expensive for them, unless they use the clone chip Parasite. So a bit of a question over Arc Lockdown. Gonna catch people by surprise. Oh wait, no. Okay. So we're all on the same page again. So yeah, DNA tracker on R&D might be a good idea. Alternatively, we get our Arc Lockdown back, play it again, and stick the DNA tracker out here, and then start just slamming everything we can into the server. So will they trash Chrysium? No. Yeah, it doesn't really affect them from what I can see. We can put it on R&D just to be a bit of an inconvenience. Or of course we could put it into our server as well if we can snipe the last blackmail. At the moment we want to get rid of blackmail and David, because those are the two that hurt our really hurt our DNA tracker. So I'd imagine the play is run R&D, Parasite the Komainu. Then we might have to put the DNA tracker there. Isn't that exciting if we want to score anything out? Yeah, I think Parasite R&D run once, twice more maybe if you're nervous about snare. Come on to the end of the stack. So, what have we seen in the way of influence? There are 2, Parasite 3, 4, Faust 5, 6, Yaga 7. That 9. Wildside, of course. We've seen how many? Just the 2? Just 2. So is that 11? So Levy is a possibility. Got rid of the data sucker. I would have preferred a Parasite play here. So they're just going to make a normal run. So it will cost them 1 because the Agora not going to do much for us anymore. Unfortunately, we don't have any program treasures. Jackson would have liked to keep him. Now, with 1 on the board, they might feel there's no point in doing it. But I think you do when we've gone this far through. Okay, we're lucky enough they're going to leave him there. Another hostile. That's really good for us. So. Now they could Parasite this before the next turn and then get 4 free runs at it. But Yagora is not going to do much for us. So let's draw 2. Well, Quandary's not going to do much either. Install that. And maybe install Jackson in a new server. So now we have a lot of ice that does very little for us. Hopefully we can get the same old thing blackmail here. Rebirth. Into Omer. Well, that was unexpected. And unfortunately, we're sitting here with Quandary, which does absolutely nothing for us. So that gets them into R&D at least. So DNA tracker might have to go here instead. I think they're overly worried about DNA tracker, that's why they're keeping the clone chip here. Well, not overly worried, it's definitely a card to be worried and worried about. But that's probably why they haven't used the Parasite play. So they could be still looking at 1 levy. You know, Chrysium onto... Oh, I should have res this. Would have made things so much better. Well, we got them with a shock. They're now down to 4 cards. There's the levy. Okay. So now they don't have access to blackmail, but our servers are... or we're using everything there. So let's use this to get some cards back. Let's go with... Bioethics and hostile. Let's start our turn. Fetal. Would have been better a turn or 2 ago. We can get our David pretty quick here. We can also put Chrysium down, which could be amusing. So let's do that. We have quite a bit of money. And do we put down another Jackson? think we might as well. So they have one blackmail, they have a second David somewhere, a couple of parasites which we do need to keep in mind, but they are full on memory as well. So R&D is exactly where they want to go, which means at some point we'll have to shore it up with a couple of shocks. And they are coming for the hostile again. So it costs them 2 cards manually. We can chip them for 2 cards, and we can also then res the hostile. So let's do exactly that. What do we get? Scrubber. Scrubber again. So we get another free hostile infrastructure, meaning they'll lose 2 more cards, one of which is from hand, and they are going to leave it. No, maybe not. So maybe just an interface issue. So Parasite and Sure Gamble bite the dust. Breaker Bay remains, which is fantastic for us. With two Jacksons on the table, we can get our hostile again. We can get a shock. Question is, do we feel we can score a 3-pointer? Actually, now might be a good time to put this down. Yeah, I think we go for this. Into server 6. Advance twice. So they'll draw 2 with the wild side. They'll have to use 2. We can hit them for 2. And then they will lose 2 here as well. So, not a terrible idea. It may work out for us. Okay, they are going to leave it for us instead, it seems. I'm coming for Jackson instead. But they do not have enough to trash him, so we will leave him on the table. Question is, when do we want to use him? He's probably fine there now. Breaker Bay is good. Let's just score this out. Kind of surprised they didn't run it. If it is future perfect, we win, so yeah. But maybe they are wiser not to. Maybe they thought it is the fetal. I mean, we've scored 1 already. Which could work in our favour if they go down low on cards again. We get the future perfect out. And now the scrubber comes down. So I expect them to run a lot more of our things and trash everything. I'm willing to use this, Jackson. Shuffle back a shock, a hostile, and Arc Lockdown is funny. Or Neural. Let's go Arc Lockdown for the moment. I assume he's going to run the other Jackson, which means we need to shuffle back the future perfect probably. Although it's well defended by the DNA tracker, so it might work out okay for us as well. Uyghur is fine, we're not going to be installing that. And we get a shock. So, we could, in theory, get them to run it. Sarugi. It's going to cost them a bit of money to get through as well. So I think we try and defend this well. See if we can force either a blackmail or a run. Either way, we're pretty happy. Now, unfortunately, since we put down the DNA tracker, they haven't run it. So, just a normal run. They do have more than enough to make it through. But it's a war it's a war of attrition at this stage. So, 2 more cards here. I don't think now is the right time for the 2 here. I think there may be a better time. So we hit a David, which is great. Now we need to find our arc lockdown. Get rid of that one. We are the master of mind games. To be fair, I'm probably just going to keep jamming random things in there. We're only 1 point away so they kind of do need to run anything that's put down. And we're slowly getting to a point where we might mill them out. If we can land a bioethics or 2. Do on our hostiles though. And the shocks could be really, really useful as well. I think this is a game where we're going to have to actually score out. At the moment they have quite a lot of money. So it's going to be challenging. And they're going to keep coming HQ because it's the cheaper one. Komainu is really working well with Boxy. So we could slam these 2 again and put a pad out. Not a bad idea. Again, wasting time, wasting money, and wasting a couple of cards as well. So this is a pad. We will res this time. So presumably we'll get to keep this because it's not worth a card to them, I don't think. Not at this stage. Jackson is probably worth a trash considering we've been... The question is, do we put the shocks in or not? I think we do. I think Future Perfect is actually safe in the archives. Or is one... maybe 1. Neural and... It seems unlikely that we'll get this scored. And it just puts them on 4 points. So I think Breaker Bay instead. course, if they never run archives with Omar's ability... Oh. Well, that's kind of good, actually. So blackmail is going to be on archives. But just on archives. So Chrysium is here. Presumably they'll want to take it out. Then they get to Psy game, which is unfortunate for us. There's no real need to res the Chrysium. So instead we're going to do a Psy. Oops, press the wrong button. Okay, that works out well for us. We left one shock in there still for their surprise. Hit I've had worse. So now, they're down to our last 10 cards, of which they will be trashing a couple. Money is not their issue. Thanks to the other Liberated, they have Katie. Health points, however, are... Yeah, we're keeping things hidden pretty well. And now they know where 1 is. But is it worth 2, 3? Is it worth 3 cards to them? Plus DNA tracker, encountering that. Bioethics. Okay, this is where we put them into a bit of a tailspin, and neural. Presumably they'll run and trash it. Yeah. So it'll chip 1 card away from them. Bringing them down to 6. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 if they want to go there. So they are starting to get a bit dicey now. Of course, R&D becomes much, much cheaper. So 6 subs. But if they want to trash anything, hostile will kick in. We also have a shock in there somewhere. We can use 2 here, but not that exciting for us. And they will see 2. Bioethics brings them down to 5 cards. And we're starting to hit that point. As in... So 2 will bring them down to 3 cards. Then we have this. This may be the turn actually to just do 2 chips. Arc Lockdown can hit a David. Yegor is no good to us. So do we just go for hit? Maybe Arc Lockdown then. We'll see what we hit. I've had worse. We could Arc Lockdown 4. David is the only kind of exciting one. Of course, they're down to 3 cards now, so everything's going to be pretty cheap. Let's just take a credit. Or should we Arc Lockdown? No, because DNA tracker's wasted now. It's unlikely that they're going to use David or Omar's ability. Same old thing, blackmail gets them in here. Yeah, they're in a bit of trouble. So they can spend 3, then we can chip, and then we're waiting on something. So boop and boop. Another David. Okay, glad I waited. There's a shock. And I don't know what else to hit. They're not happy that they did not find an agenda. It was very weird that they didn't actually. Where were they? Ah, 2 shocks and 3 agendas hiding out at the bottom. And another one there. So yeah, the agendas stayed well hidden. Shocks. Fetal was going to cause problems as well. But had they hit... Fetal was unfortunately the last agenda. So they were in a better spot than us for a long time, I think. It was just that war of attrition that they couldn't keep up with. And in the end, we just about ground it out. But yeah, that took a long time. So sorry about that. Hope you enjoyed it anyway. I think the Breaker Bay is a little more essential than Sundew, because they will just trash Sundew or run it first turn, first click. And unless you can get really spiky ice in front of it, it's not going to do that much for you, I don't think. But anyway, this was the first run at it. We will try it again. If you've seen another potential Unleashed deck that you like, please let me know. And thank you for watching.